Maya, can you make me an admin, a host?
Yes, hold on. Your co-host, I'm setting up the Facebook.
So now, hold on. Now, how do I? Here's chat. I could share here.
Maybe you might have streaming capabilities. So do you see the more options?
Stream it on your thing. It's fine.
Okay, all right.
But how do I? Hold on. How do I put a file in?
You should be. It should be in chat. If you're using a laptop or device. Actually, wait a minute. Where's mine? I think about it.
I think you lose it when you put video.
Damn.
Okay, it is.
I've had that capability before to share file. Oh, wait, no. Share content is just share my screen. Oh no. Go into share. Look at the share.
That's share my screen.
Yeah, but there should be other options like share file, other applications, whiteboard. Do you see that?
No, I don't have that option. I have screen only.
Oh man. I'll see if I can share.
No, don't. It's okay. I won't share. It was email. I just want to share. Can you share something?
Yeah, I can share.
So you'll share the. Is the lighting here any better? Let me see. How is my lighting? Clearly?
Yeah, clearly.
How about here? You see me now, also?
Yeah, I can see you as well here as well.
Okay, so I don't know. I don't understand because I don't have clear. I don't see myself clearly, so whatever.
Oh, clearly?
Can you throw? Are you able to throw in the?
Are you ready for me to go start live streaming?
No, not yet. You want to start at 7.
Okay.
Look how slow it is. Something's wrong. So let me turn up my audio. Put on your audio. Cody, do you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I hear you. Do you hear me?
I hear you clearly.
So something's wrong with my visual. I don't. Can you put on your visual? It's very slow. It's like 10 seconds after I speak, you see my face.
Really?
Put on your face. Put on your thing.
For me, it's showing up in real time.
Okay. Can you show me yours? Put on your video.
My video is on. You don't see it?
I don't see. I see a Brooklyn Community Board 9 face. An image.
It will take a while for the. Maybe it'll take a while for it to show up because I have my.
Maybe you have it set to. Oh, now it looks like it's going. I know. Have other people used this program? Okay.
Some Yako issues.
So why are you giving me a program?
Because we switch. If there's a committee meetings that have
other committee
2 in one night. Last month you had Zoom and Parks had WebEx, and it's only fair that we.
Parks has one person at the meeting. Khalid, Parks has one person at the meeting. We have a lot.
Well, you'll have to take that to speak to me about it, to be honest, because she's the one that decided that we have to alternate in order for us to be fair to each committee fair. So, okay. If you want to have a discussion with her tomorrow, I can definitely reach out to her to let her know that we're having certain issues.
Khalid, somebody's here.
Okay.
Hello?
Yaakov, this is Mr. Hugo. He is a representative for H&S Deli and Grocery, Mama Luisa. It's one of the applicants. He's for the renewals.
Lee, can you put on a sample, please? Can you put on can you put a file in? See how it works?
Oh, you mean you want me to put in the same application form that I sent to the committee members?
No, I want you to test it. Put anything in.
Okay, let's see. What do I have here?
This is covered. Yeah.
How do I have Khalid?
Yes.
How do I mute people and unmute them? You know. Khalid, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Khalid, you're on mute.
Sorry, Yaakov. I was trying to say that when you hover over the names in the participants panel on the right side of your screen, you can see request unmute or mute person and so forth. So,
But I have to ask them to unmute themselves? I cannot unmute them. I have to ask.
I can mute them.
Again?
Yes, same as me. I can only request to unmute.
So you could mute, but you can unmute. Correct?
Correct.
You're not in real time. You're breaking up, Khalid.
That's correct. Right.
You're breaking up.
Hold on.
Okay, I think you could start the live feed, Khalid, in a minute.
Got it.
Do you see on our first presenter? Wait, it's already live?
Say that again, Yaakov?
Why are we live?
No, it's not live. No, it's not live, Yaakov.
Khalid, we are live. It says your meeting is being streamed live to Facebook.
Yes, but I have to actually click go. Not live on.
Khalid, you're breaking up. Khalid, can you call up the individual who's supposed to give us a report on the gangs and see if he's joining us?
Okay, give me 1 second. Piece of crap with me.
Mike, is that you?
Yes. Yeah, my video is coming up now.
No problem. We're about to start. We're just waiting for...
Yaakov, also my partner, Officer Davis, is joining us as well tonight.
Oh, thank you. Oh, we have. Great. All right, Khalid, you could start streaming live. We'll be starting at any moment. We're just waiting for a few more people to come. All right. Khalid, you got to look at see who's let people in. All right, hey, Mike. We have 11 people here. I think we should start on time, and people will come as they come. Khalid, please send Mr. Pearson a link. He's waiting for a link. Can you email him a link? I'll send it to him. All right. Good evening. Welcome to the Public Safety Meeting of Community Board 9. We have a number of important topics to discuss, as well as two applicants one for a renewal of a liquor license and one for a upgrade from a beer and wine to a full liquor license. We're going to begin tonight's evening hearing from Wesley. Wesley is the owner of an establishment that, unfortunately, there was a gang shooting right a block away from his establishment, and he was the first person at the scene and one of the first people. He's going to tell us a little bit about what's happening in his neighborhood, where his establishment is, and what he'd like to hear, what the community maybe could do to help support him. Once we hear from Wesley, we're going to hear from Mr. Hecht, who has some other public safety issues to bring to the attention of the board. And then we're going to hear from Mike from the police department, who's going to address these issues and tell us how we as a community can assist the police and together solve some of these issues.
Hi.
It's all yours.
Hello, my name is Wesley Dean Simon. I'm the chef and owner of Zami Restaurant on 1206 North Strand Avenue in the corner of Horton. Can you guys see me?
We see you.
We've been having this issue. I've been in the neighborhood since last November, and we've been having this issue for a while now.
Hold on 1 second. Khalid, can you not share any screens? Can you have Wesley on, please? It's a little distracting to people. Can you, if you want to highlight him, but please take off shared screen. Thank you, Wesley. Continue.
Yes. Since I've been in this neighborhood, I live around the corner. I live on Cotellieu, so I usually walk to the restaurant or take an Uber or drive sometimes if it's not late night. And I think I witnessed 11 shootings total in this area,
Wow.
and I've been there for all 11 shootings. And the last one was the worst. And I don't know if Diana Richardson is on the call with us. I want to start by apologizing to her because I was extremely rude the next day to her. And the reason why I was extremely rude the next day to every politician that's walking my establishment is that I was standing outside when the shooting happened. The guy who got shot and died, I have him on video, and I run up to him, and the cops in the corner ran up and tried to administer first aid to him. And unfortunately, we watched him on the stretcher when he died, on route, basically. And I'm looking at a young man that died in the neighborhood that I see walking around all the time, hanging out in the corner. It doesn't sit well with me because I escaped a third world country for things like this. When I was 14 years old, my dad brought me to America as a Haitian immigrant. And now I'm witnessing everything's going down the same way again. And the politician, when I reach out to them, from the third shooting, we sent out email. We wanted to write a petition. We wanted to get with the community board. We contacted the mayor office. We contacted a Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. And the gentleman, the president of Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, was the only one at that time that came by and sat with us and discussed some stuff and said he'll reach out. And he continuously, weekly, stopping by, or he sent his secretary or the guys that work for him. They constantly come in the restaurant because they live in the neighborhood not too far. So they stop by numerous times, which I really appreciate. But nobody really wanted to sit down and check out our view and how we felt about what's going on. So when that last shooting happened and the person finally died, I felt like the politician let us hang it. And that's why I was like a bit rude to her. And I told her, I don't want to talk to you right now. Step away from my establishment. I don't want you with cameras, filming everything. I don't want them filming you and then seeing you standing in front of my place because this publicity is not good publicity. And it could affect my business. And it did affect my business. And my sales dropped about 32% from that shooting on. So basically, we've been losing revenue from everything that's been going on in this neighborhood. So she finally came by, and lately she's been more involved. She's been coming by almost every other day. We've been sitting down. My business partner.
Can everybody hear you? I am having trouble hearing you.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yes.
Yes. Now, I sat down with my business partner. We started hashing out plans. How can we better this neighborhood? How can we make it safer? How can we involve the guys in the neighborhood and make them feel part of the community? And so they could, find something else to do instead of, hanging in the corner drinking, hanging in the corner selling drugs, hanging in the corner.
Hold on 1 second. Khalid, you got to let the 3 participants in the lobby. Please let them in. I'm sorry. Continue.
And I came up with a pretty good plan, and I want to set up a meeting with Diane Richardson, especially with you, I want to talk to the lawyers in the area, a few business owners in the area. I got a realtor on board. I basically want to do something that I know very well and offer it to the guys in the neighborhood. So the thing is, they all claim to be entrepreneurs. They all claim to be drug dealers. They all claim to be making money. So how can we use that, like, positivity, like, things that claim to be? Or one night, I remember witnessing a dice game that was going on in that corner. There was over $20,000 in a pot on the floor. And that's big dice game. And this is actually being filmed on Instagram and Facebook, and they're talking crap to each other with different neighborhoods, throwing, like, gang signs, talking to different other gangs and telling them they got money and this is what's going on. This is the big game, big boss is here. And you're looking at $20,000 on the floor between about 17 gentlemen. And the $20,000, how can we show them, teach them how to utilize that money and own their neighborhood? Everybody talking about gentrifying neighborhood. They're talking about people coming out here and taking their neighborhood, and they feel like they're being kicked out and making the neighborhood unsafe. But what are we providing to this young black man? They all want to be entrepreneurs. They're drug dealers. That's part of entrepreneurship. And they're all waking up early every day, doing something they like. But how can we use that energy and channel it towards something that'd be great for this neighborhood and make them feel like they're part or they can win from this anyway? So,
has this been, how many years has this been going on for?
In the neighborhood?
Yeah, and you're...
No, but this, from what I heard, now I've been in the neighborhood since last November. I had the store. I opened the restaurant like in February, but I obtained the place. I was doing construction, and I've been watching it going on. Between that time of February when I opened, February 2nd, which is Super Bowl day, I witnessed 11 shootings. So within that 11 shootings, I watched all the dice games. I'm familiar with the guys in the neighborhood. 90% of them is not bad guys. They're just misguided. And instead of us, people calling them names or doing different things, I want to offer something to the neighborhood right now because I have a 10 years lease in my restaurant, and I'm not planning on going anywhere. So how can I make my neighborhood safe? That's how I'm looking at it right now.
So we want to work with you. We want to work with the police together as one team. And we want to figure out. I'm sure that only through both law enforcement, sometimes some of these kids could be, it could be prevented, some of the violence, and some of these kids just got to get locked up. It depends where they're holding in life. And we're going to hear shortly from Mike. We definitely, as a committee, as a board, we want to work with you, and we want to work as a community together with law enforcement to stop this. Because 11 shootings it's just crazy. And I understand the last shooting where you watched a young man die was, I think there were 6 people shot.
Yes, there were 6 shot and 1 died. And I'm watching all 6 ambulances carrying out all these people right in front of me. And I have people ducking. I have kids under the table. I had a bullet that hit one of my doors, a door frame in the back of the restaurant. And I'm saying, if this door wasn't open, that same projectile was table sitting. Somebody could have got shot from the restaurant. Now this problem would have come to my front door immediately. So I don't know if I should tell the neighborhood the plan that I have for this neighborhood and what I want to do for the neighborhood to better the neighborhood. And I'm going to send out a letter and a petition. And I want to sit with the law office in the area. There's a few law offices in the area. There's a few realtors in the area. There's a bunch of business owners, whether it's black owned, different, Spanish owned, minority business owners. I want to have a meeting with the guys in the neighborhood in my restaurant, in the next week or 2. And the plan that I have hatched out is just that I can teach them financial freedom. How, when I watch that dice game for $20,000, they can actually take that money. If it is $3,000, $4,000, $3,000, $4,000, they don't have to disclose it to the government. If a lawyer will do it pro bono for us, create a LLC, create a corporate account, create a escrow account. Now, they have a few buildings. That's when the realtor in the neighborhood will come in. If they will provide their services too. I want these guys to take that $20,000 and purchase a building in the neighborhood.
Listen, I think we could talk to law enforcement. If the money was obtained illegally, if it's drug money, I don't know what they could do with it, but I definitely think we have to work as a community. Wesley, thank you so much for.
I want to give them an option.
I know, but if the money came from selling drugs, they're not going to do anything with it. It's all illegal money, and maybe Mike could address it. But I think it's so important you came tonight, and we have one more presenter from the community who's going to talk about a little lighter issue, and then I think Mike could address what you said and address what Mr. Hecht's going to say. I know it's not as serious, not close to being as serious, and then I think we should take some questions from the community or comments, and then or from the committee, and then we'll hear the applications. Mr. Hecht, are you on, or Mrs. Hecht, are you on? You're muted. Hold on 1 second.
Yes, good evening, Yakov. Tessa Hackett-Bear is here.
Hey, Tessa, how are you? Welcome.
Okay, thank you.
We're just waiting for our next presenter, and then I want to have Mike respond to the important topic of gang violence and the next issue on the table. No, it's your turn. Can you unmute yourself? Oh. All right, he's coming on right now. I just want to say again, I think it was so important that Mr. Wesley came here tonight and presented to us what's going on in his neighborhood. Unfortunately, Crown Heights has suffered this past year many shootings related to gang violence, and there was even a shooting in the park, in front of kids earlier this year. And I think everybody could agree, regardless of your political beliefs or what you think about, some of the movements. I think we all agree that when it comes to gangs and what's going on, we need law enforcement, and we need a strong law enforcement, because when you have people shooting people in the streets, only somebody with, a trained law enforcement officer, it will be effective. Obviously, we want prevention. We want to prevent the shooting before it happens. But if it's already in a place where people are shooting each other, I think we need law enforcement. And I want to ask Mike to address this in 1 minute. I'm just waiting for Mrs. Hecht. Anybody from the committee wants to chime in or say something, please feel free. Tessa. Rabbi Hecht, are you on?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was hoping my wife would join. She's outside looking for parking. She picked my son up from night school.
All right, so I want to just give you a brief introduction. We just spoke about some gang violence, which is an incredibly serious issue. You have an issue you want to bring to the table as well. I know it's not as serious, but it's important to you. So just if you give in very short, in 5 minutes, a brief background of what's going on, and then the committee will review the issue.
Okay, so my name is Shmuley Hecht. I live on Montgomery Street between New York and Nostrand, or technically between New York Avenue and Clove Road. The front of my house faces the back of PS 161. Throughout the summer, in general, there's always action in the playground, which is the back of 161. This, I guess, I don't know if it's even the summer season. This past season has been, let's just say, it's out of the ordinary with the amount of action that's going on there. Well, the main issue is, on a consistent basis, it's Sunday and Saturday and Sunday from about 11 o'clock in the morning till almost 10 or 11 o'clock at night. There is very, very, very loud music being played throughout the day, and that place generally is meant for kids to play. My kids used to go there, but now it attracts a lot of cars that are driving through there in and out, which makes it dangerous and uncomfortable for my kids to be playing there. So they no longer go there. But really, the main pressing issue is that Obviously, everyone knows because of COVID, there's a lot of homeschooling. We're spending a lot of time at home. And you would hope and think that if you're stuck at home, at least you can live in a peaceful manner. But I have trouble putting my kids to sleep in the evening. Again, on a consistent basis, there's very, very loud music being played. Over the Jewish holiday of Sukkot, it was really, really out of hand. I know people called the police, people called 311, people went down to the police station. When the police have come in the past, if they ever did come, whoever it is on the loudspeaker would say something along the lines of, let's respect our neighbors, we'll do one more song, we'll do one more song, we'll do one more song. And then 3 hours later, he's still doing his last one more song, one more song, one more song. What's even more troubling is that a lot of the times they'll put music on. Let's say they'll call a party for 6 o'clock in the evening. They'll put the music on from 11 o'clock in the morning, and there's no one even there yet. There's one guy like walking around there firing up a grill. The place is completely empty, and they're just blaring music throughout the whole day. So it's definitely a quality.
Is there alcohol in the premises as well?
Yeah, well, I don't attend the parties, so I don't really know. Definitely this past Saturday and Sunday, definitely there was. In the past, when I've called to make the complaint, it's usually after the fact, because during Saturday I obviously, because they tell me, oh, why don't you take a picture? Why don't you take a video? But I keep Sabbath, and therefore I don't have a phone on me. I can't take video. I can't take pictures of what's going on. So that's basically the response that I've gotten so far.
So I'm going to ask Mike if Mike could chime in now and address both the issue of gangs and what Mr. Hecht brought up, and any other updates he wants to share with the community.
Hi, good evening. I'm Mike Barada from 7-1 Precinct Community Affairs. I'll start with Rabbi Hecht. Now that this has been made aware, they're happening in the schoolyard of PS 161.
Correct.
Okay, so we'll sit down and meet with some school staff and find out. If we'll see if we can secure the grounds of the school going forward, and hopefully we can put an end to this relatively quickly.
I appreciate that.
All right, no problem. So as far as the gangs, so gangs have been an issue in New York City since the beginning of New York City. Specifically within the 7-1 precinct, we have had a gang issue, for as long as I've been a police officer and even before me. This is something that we've come to take as a targeted approach. They've created a gang division, we've created a narcotics division, and within the and that's department wide. Within the precinct itself, we also have a violence suppression team that targets gang and violent individuals. As far as Hawthorne Street specifically, so there's a bunch of historic different gang sets throughout the command. Ebbetsfield being one of them, Union Street by Utica Avenue being one of them, Hawthorne Street being another. Hawthorne Street has been a gang set for longer than I've been a police officer. It's close to almost 30 years now. And we've tried many different approaches there. Usually the best approach to combat gang violence is strict enforcement, strict enforcement of the law and penal law. But Hawthorne Street has developed into kind of a unique situation, because although the individuals that hang out on Hawthorne Street, first of all, a majority of them do live on that immediate block. So they do live within the 4 or 5 buildings that are there, a majority of them, not all. So this is their home, this is their front yard or their backyard. But what has happened on Hawthorne Street is that you have a group of individuals that may have a violent past, that may have a criminal past, a long criminal past, but are now at the point of their life that they may not be directly involved in violence per se, in gang. They might still be members of the gang. They might still live a somewhat street life per se, but they don't directly engage in criminal activity. Now, when I say criminal activity, I mean blatant, traditional gang criminal activity like drug dealing. we've had narcotics sets set up there many, 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 many times with tons of surveillance, hours and hours and years of surveillance. And ultimately, I'm not saying that they're not selling drugs, but they're not selling drugs out of that location. That is something we can say pretty confidently, is that, on Hawthorne Street it's not really a drug set. They do make money illegally other ways. Most of it is through white collar crime, credit card scams, and all types of technology theft, that has evolved. The gangs have evolved with the time. In the 80s of selling crack on the street with crack vials and having lines around the block, those days are done. So gangs don't traditionally make money like that. But another way that gangs have come to make money, especially within Brooklyn itself, is through the music industry. So, a lot of these gangs they call each other ops, which is short for opposition. So the opposition. So long story short, to get more to the point here, is Hawthorne Street specifically has a lot of oppositions. They've made a lot of enemies over the years through calling people out in rap videos, through making videos and putting and dissing other gangs from all over Brooklyn, and also through stealing business through them, stealing business through artists, and also these gentlemen do have a violent past. Many of them do have a violent past. So they have created many enemies throughout the borough of Brooklyn. And now, at this point, they may not directly be engaged in criminal activity or violence or robberies or shootings or stabbings, because if I pull up the we record all recorded crimes, and we break them down statistically, and that's how we basically address most criminal activity. I don't have crimes being committed on that block or in that area. There are not reports that are coming in, but we know that there's an issue there. We know that there's a problem. So one of the things that
Lefty said there were 11 shootings there. What do you mean you don't have crimes there?
Well, no, okay. Let me correct that. So we don't have. That's not these gentlemen being engaged in. They're not shooting. They're not the ones that are shooting. They're being shot at. So yes, there has been 11 shooting incidents within the past year and a half, and it goes on even further than that. If I could go back 3 years, which I can, I don't have that information in front of me. There's more than 11. There's no doubt about these gentlemen are being targeted. So you have so that's what I was getting at. You have gang members from Caton Avenue and East 18th Street in the 7-0. You have gang members from East 96th Street and Avenue L in Canarsie. You have gang members from Brownsville. You have gang members from East New York. You have gang members from Lincoln Place up in the 7-7 that are all coming here and targeting these gentlemen. Now, this is where the problem is that they stay out on the street, and it's only gotten worse since COVID, because there's nowhere else for these guys to go. And I think that's part of where Mr. Simon, what Mr. Simon is saying is that these kids need so we're going to continue to do our part as far as enforcement and any type of crime fighting in that area per se. But we're also working on a somewhat holistic approach to gun violence. And there's been a program that's been started within New York City. It's called Cure Violence, and it's basically, it's a whole bunch of different things, but it's mainly focused on providing people who may, gang members who may feel like they don't have any opportunity or they don't have any other direction in their life. And that's basically what Cure Violence, that's one approach on what Cure Violence does, is to try to show them that there is other opportunity and try to present them with educational, advances or financial advances, or how to get a job, or how to write a resume, or where to buy a suit, or how to buy a suit. So that's one of the things that we started. We were way ahead of the curve. We actually got in touch with the Office to Prevent Gun Violence way back in January of 2020, and we were moving very rapidly because we saw that this was a unique situation on Hawthorne Street specifically, and we knew that there was going to have to be some other type of approach here because we basically want the kids that live on that block not to hang out on that block. That's really the ultimate goal here. They're not shooting people. I'm not saying they haven't done it in the past, but for the past year and a half, we've had a police car on that block 365 days a year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So we have cops on that block every single day, and we move them around strategically in regards to violence. So, some of those 11 shootings that Mr. Simon was talking about, some of these shootings were cars driving southbound on Nostrand Avenue and just stopping at the intersection, coming out of the sunroof and recklessly firing a gun out of the sunroof down Hawthorne Street. And those are things that we can't have. So, not only for these gentlemen's safety, but for the safety of everybody else on the block, women, children, mothers, fathers, husbands. So we moved the police around strategically based off of prior events that were violent. But again, let me get back to what I was saying. So in January this year, we saw that we were going to need a different type of approach. And I know the police department is often tasked with.
Is there any way we can get involved?
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you one way that you can get involved. So the police department is often tasked with wearing many different hats. We have to be a social worker. We have to be a big brother. We have to be a father. We have to be, we have to be the bad guy sometimes. We want to be the good guy. We try to interact with youth. And I'm not talking about just gangs. I'm talking about as a whole, the police department is tasked with, many different responsibilities throughout society. And but one of the things that we're not necessarily specialized in is making headway with, career criminals per se, or people with lengthy rap sheets. They don't necessarily trust us. We don't necessarily trust them. And, we know that we know them better than anybody else. So we know their violent history. We know what may have happened. So there is a trust issue between the police department and violent criminals. So one of the things that we started to do in January was we got in touch with Cure Violence. We got in touch with the mayor's office to prevent gun violence, and we were assigned violence interrupters. There's been a little bit of change. COVID really, really put the brakes on what we were trying to do. So in January we were full steam ahead. February came, we were starting to see some progress, and then March came and the whole world stopped. And so from March until about July, there really was not much going on at all. People weren't going to work. I'm talking about, people, the resources that we were using in January dried up. Somewhere around January, we tried to reignite them and get some more presence out on the block, and we were starting to become successful. And then in October, we were full steam ahead. We had the Elite Learners. Elite Learners is a violence interrupter that's contracted to the city. It's contracted through Cure Violence, and they were out there Friday the 2nd. They were out there Friday the 7th, and they were also out there the day of the shooting. The thing was that I had a meeting with them earlier today. They said that they met with this group on the day of the shooting, and that the group had somewhere to go, and that they were getting ready to leave. And so the Cure Violence guys left, and just as the guys on Hawthorne Street were getting ready to leave, that's when the shooting erupted. So I mean, as far as going forward, we stepped up our enforcement. We're going to continue to do strict enforcement. Our presence is definitely there. We're dedicated to making sure that we're doing our best to make sure that this doesn't happen again. But we're also using community-based approaches. Also, we were very involved in starting so a lot of people who live on that block, I don't know if you're not familiar with that block. I am very familiar with a lot of the people that live on the block because this has been an issue for so long. A lot of the regular people, per se, who live on that block, many of them are scared, or many of them have been scared of these gentlemen because they know that there's a potential for violence.
Hold on, is somebody's mic on background?
Say it again?
Whoever's mic is on, there's some noise in the background, Mike. I'm just...
So, I'm sorry. So
Mike, why don't we do like this, Mike? Why don't I start with the question? We'll open up some questions from the committee.
Let's go for that. Yeah, let's go for that.
All right. So my only question is: has there been any arrests in the 11 shootings? Have we got any of the people that committed these acts of violence?
Yes. There's still some open cases. The most recent one, the 6 people shot, is aggressively being investigated. We have people of interest, but it's still a current investigation. I don't have the exact specific numbers on how many are closed, but I do know a majority of those have resulted in arrest. And I can tell you that since October 12th of 2020, we've had 4 firearm arrests within the confines of the 7-1, 2 specifically in that area, and one of them was also for a prior shooting. One was made by our violence suppression team. One was made by one of our patrol officers, and the other ones were search warrants based off of intelligence that we recovered. And then, as far as gang affiliate, that was illegal firearm arrests for the past 28 days in the confines of the 7-1. As far as gang affiliated arrests for the same 28-day period, starting from October 12th, we have 9 specifically targeted gang-affiliated arrests that were made within the confines of the 7-1, and 6 of them are gang members that have conflict with this gang on Hawthorne Street. So, I mean, as a police department, we always we've been taking a more targeted approach. We know who's committing the crimes, we know who the problems are, and we know who the shooters are. It's just a part of letting the investigation, we have to do a solid investigation to make sure that, there's some penalty behind the crimes that they're committing. So, these investigations often take a long time because it's many different parts and it's many different members. We do gang takedowns every once in a while. Every couple months you'll read something in the newspaper about an NYPD gang takedown. Those are hours and hours and hours and hours and months of investigation of investigators, that dedicate their whole job, basically, their whole part of their life into bringing down these gangs. There was a humongous gang takedown in the East 96 and Clarkson area a few years ago. That was Bobby Shmurda. I don't know if you know the rapper Bobby Shmurda. It was a Crip gang member set. They took down 40-something members, and a lot of them are still in jail now. And they were responsible for a ton of violence. Ton of violence within our area of Brooklyn. So, I mean,
So let's take another question. Any of the committee members have any questions? Any questions in the committee or comments? I see Tess is on.
Mr. Simon did ask about. I didn't get to answer his question yet about what he can do to help. So, Mr. Simon, you there? Can you hear me?
I want to know how can I do to help, because I'm proposing something to the neighborhood, try to get the guys together, get them involved in financial freedom. I want to bring a banker to talk to them. I want to bring a realtor to talk to them. I want to bring a lawyer to talk to them. And I want to offer my restaurant from Monday to Wednesday morning, which is my slowest time, so they can actually sit and discuss things and do classes, financial freedom, and things like, they feel like they're around the corner. They're already here. So if I could get 3 out of 4, 3 out of 7, I could get 7 or 8 of them in here, and then we could teach them how to open bank accounts, how to get resumes, how to, look at the stock market, how to look at the real estate market. Little things like they're interested. They're scared of gentrification. They're scared of everything that's going on in the neighborhood, but we're not telling them how to fight this in the neighborhood. So give them a better weapon to fight instead of a gun. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think that's a great idea, and honestly, I think you're a great asset to that block specifically, because that's something that's kind of been lacking with the engagement. A lot of people that live on that block, are scared, and I think that somebody to come out and be as passionate about the situation as yourself and willing to help is a great thing. There's a few different people that I could put you in contact with. I think maybe we should follow up after off screen, on a one-on-one basis. Yaakov Bierman has my contact information. You can get it from him, and I think we could, do some real good work following up with this. I can put you in contact with a few other different people, and and I think we can go from there.
That's great. Thank you, Wesley. Thank you. Any other questions for Officer Beretta before we go to the liquor license applications?
Sure.
Rashida, anything?
I know you mentioned the Cure Violence and the Violent Interrupter organizations. Are they back in? I know there was you said because of COVID, it had kind of like stopped. Is it now back like 50%, 70%? What's kind of like the situation with it now that we are kind of going into the winter season and a lot of people are now potentially going back inside versus in the summertime when there was a lot of people more outside?
Right. Okay, so to be 100% transparent, it's Cure Violence is not under the police department. It's under the mayor's office. It's a relatively new program. When I say new, within a year or so. So they're still, I think they're still trying to find out exactly what plan they're going to take. But it's as far as Hawthorne Street, as far as the 7-1 precinct in Hawthorne Street, it's as active as it's more active than it's ever been for us. So the month of October alone, I know that they've been out there. They're out there very frequently. I can't really give you a percentage because there's nothing to compare it to prior. During COVID, it almost came to a complete stop. So, I mean, if you're going to compare it to, COVID is still going on, but if you're going to compare it for the first half of the year, yes, it's definitely increased because it was almost zero. Me and my partner had a meeting with them earlier today. Specifically, we have the Elite Learners. That's the violence interrupter organization that's tasked with helping out on Hawthorne Street. And they're very, I spoke to the organizer, and she's very committed to doing whatever she can do to be out there. I think there is funding is always an issue, I guess. I don't want to say there is a funding issue. I can't speak on that because I don't really know. But one of the concerns that was mentioned is a funding issue, But I do think that the Mayor's Office to Prevent Gun Violence is committed to having them on Hawthorne Street specifically, and because of what happened there 2 weeks ago.
It would be great if you can maybe give Yakov their contact person. Maybe we can see how the Community Board 9 can also help with them as well, or the Safety Committee as well.
Absolutely.
Officer Beretta, maybe we could bring them for another meeting or for a board meeting. Do you think they'd be open to that?
I think they would. They recently went to a meeting. So there was a meeting 2 weeks ago specifically about Hawthorne Street. It was at St. Gabriel's Church, and they did come out there and they came out there and they gave a little question and answer. What I'll do is, Yakov, I'll put you in touch with my contact for the Office to Prevent Gun Violence through the Mayor's Office, and because they're basically the one who's their job is to oversee everything that happens to a violence, and then I'm sure she'll put you in touch with the Violence Interrupters Direct.
Thank you, and thank you, Rashida. Great idea, and I'll follow up. And why don't we do it together? I'll CC you on the emails, and we'll start a correspondence. Mike, thank you so much for coming here, and your partners here as well. I understand. Thank you both for joining us. And we appreciate everything you do for this community. And, we miss Vinny. And for those who don't know, Vinny retired. And Mike is the new officer. And Mike worked with Vinny, but now Mike is the senior officer there. And thank you, Mike. And we look forward to continuing our working relationship with you in the department.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have 2 liquor licenses to review. I will. Are the applicants here on the call? Mr. Hugo, yes, you were the first one here, correct?
Good evening.
Good evening. You're here for a
H&S Deli Grocery, Mama Lisa Hero Shop on corner of New York Avenue.
Standard renewal.
That's correct, yes.
So why don't you take a minute and tell us about your grocery, how long you've been there, how long you've had the license, and we'll consider your giving you a letter of support.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Yes, I am the Julio, last name Hugo. I'm the president owner of Mama Luisa Hero Shop on corner of 609 New York Avenue and Rutland Road. We've been there for 6 years, and we are the third generation of this store open on New York. As much everybody knows for the heroes, the Italian cold cuts and stuff. So we open at 7 o'clock in the morning to 5 p.m. Monday to Saturday. We are closed on Sundays, and I'm requesting renewal my beer and cider license. I wanna also support Mr. Simons because the concern of the shut-ins concerns us also because I'm just 2 blocks away from him, and anything we can help with Mr. Simons, with the community, we are open to help in any way. You can count with us. Thank you, everyone. If anybody have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee?
No questions.
Great. This is a renewal application.
Oh, Yakov, has there been any police incidents? What's the police report on this?
There's no reported police incidents or issues with the fire department either. Both, Khalid has told me that both have not had any reported incidents to their knowledge.
Okay.
No, we don't have any police reports at all. No, we open in the morning and we close at 5 p.m. So we close early in the day, in the afternoon. I mean.
Thank you so much. Is the other applicant here? I believe it's Hadassah.
Esther Hadassah, yes.
Well, great. So I'm going to ask you to, give us a brief description of your establishment. And I understand you right now have a wine and you have a what do you have now? What's your current license?
Yeah, beer and wine license.
And you want to upgrade to a full liquor license?
The full liquor license, yes.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your establishment and why you want to upgrade, why a wine and beer license is not sufficient?
Okay. Matter of factly speaking, I am representing Anna Prince, who actually I think was present at the meeting here. I can't see her right now, so hopefully she's present. Anna Prince is the principal of the establishment. She also owns Patron, which is on the same block. I hope you guys know the place. It's been there for quite a while now. It's a Mexican takeout taco place. There's also a bar next door. This is her and one of several restaurants that she owns. She's a proven operator with several full liquor licenses. So this particular establishment is very cool, very Brooklyn vibe. She opened a couple of years ago with a Guatemalan kind of like South American vibe cuisine with the cool coffees and stuff. Just customers ask for cocktails. There's a very extensive menu. This is just to complement the food that she has there right now. The hours obviously suggest that this is just a restaurant, a full sit down restaurant. So she's looking forward to getting past with the coronavirus. She's looking forward to next year, obviously, when she's going to be able to have full service inside a restaurant.
So this is in preparation for expansion. Is that correct?
This is beer and wine license. She's trying to upgrade. We think of upgrading to a full liquor license, being able to serve cocktails along with the food.
Right, in preparation for post-coronavirus.
Right. I mean, I don't know if you know the place. It's on Lincoln Road, and it's a very, very cool menu. It's South American, Guatemalan based. Very, very innovative. She serves early morning. She closes early. There's no indication this is going to turn into a bar, late night spot. So this is very, very, very much dining oriented.
Is she on Lincoln Road, right across from St. Francis? Is she across from the church?
No.
Is it Lincoln Road and Nostrand Avenue?
It's between Flushing and sorry.
Well, Anna is here. Anna could also.
Hi, how are you? My name is Anna Prince. We are between Flowers and Ocean Avenue.
Right.
We are next to Taqueria El Patron Mexican Grill. We've been open for 4 years. This is our establishment. Taqueria El Patron been open for almost 6 years. And we are just looking to upgrade to a food liquor license. We haven't had any incident, police report, or fire department. And that's about it.
Any other questions from the committee? No questions from the committee. All right. I have what you said. What time are you closing in the evening?
10 p.m. Weekdays and 11 p.m. at weekends.
And Anna, how has your establishment been affected by COVID?
So we are pretty much doing just takeout, and we have a window service, but it's still people being asking for cocktails for takeout. So I think this is one way that we can help our business, to make sure we're gonna make it through the winter, and assure that we're still gonna have, jobs for our workers.
Thank you so much. All right, so we have a quorum. I know I see a repeat is here. Tessa, you're still on, correct?
Correct.
I'm on. Mr. Pearson, are you on? Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Great. Is there anybody else on? Any other committee members on? Okay. Either way, we have a quorum. Can I get does anybody want to make a motion for H&S Deli the board should give a letter of support for the renewal?
So moved.
No.
Good.
So moved. Tessa Hackett Vera, Public Safety Committee member.
And Rashida seconded. Mr. Pearson, how do you vote?
Hello? Yes, hello? Yes.
Thank you. And I'm a yes as well. So there are 4 yeses. Do we have a motion for the Esther Hadassah for an upgrade, a letter of support to support the upgrade?
Rashida speak. A motion on the floor for supporting the letter to upgrade Hadassah.
We have a second?
Second, Tessa Hackett Vera, Public Safety Committee member.
Thank you. And Mr. Pearson, how do you vote?
Yes.
I'm yes as well. Rashida and Tessa, I understand you're also yeses. So we have unanimous. Mazel tov. We will please reach out to the board office. We will at the full board meeting. We will inform the board that we support your application, and the full board will vote. But I don't anticipate there being any issues, and you should expect. I'm fairly certain we're going to provide you with a lot of support. You seem like great establishments, and the board has taken a position in recent times that because of COVID and because of what's going on, we really appreciate the establishments that stayed strong during COVID and even our community and are trying their best to stay open. And we really appreciate that, and we wish you success, and we hope that these dark times will be over soon and we'll be able to get back to life the way it was before the pandemic. Before we close out. I'm sorry? Does anybody want to?
Correct. I support your statement.
Thank you. Does anybody from any committee members want to, any new business before we close the meeting? No?
My name is Melanie Lewis. I'm a member of Committee 4 at 9. And I feel we should definitely also look at the Facebook chats that are posted while we're having the meeting as well to see the comments from community members.
Can you read some of those comments? I'm going to try to go. I don't know what comments you're talking about. What comments are you referring to?
Melanie, could you please share the comments with the committee?
Sure, I will go to my Facebook to do that.
Okay, we'll give you a minute. Yakov, this is Tessa. Did you know that you're on Facebook Live? I didn't know that you were on Facebook Live.
Actually, I requested it from Khalid, and we set it up early because we want it to be as transparent as possible and as inclusive as possible. So we ran a test, and I know I shared it on my own Facebook, and I know it's on Facebook Live. So as many members of the community, encourage more participation.
Okay.
But I wasn't following the comments because.
Okay.
Yes,
so
good evening. Yes, I do have the Facebook Live set up. I don't know if you can all hear me. Hello?
Hear you.
Yes. So we did have the Facebook Live set up. I apologize. I actually was not monitoring the comments because I was actually monitoring the WebEx platform here. But I did post the comments or the chat from the Facebook Live into the chat here for you all to see. So you should be able to
read it because I'm in trouble seeing it in the chat.
Looking at the comments, so there's one comment just saying that they had a question about the outreach program done for the outreach program that he mentioned, the Cure Violence, and then they mentioned another program called Saving Our Streets to assist. So it was just mentioning some other program that we can look into.
That's great. So Khalid, can you take down these organizations and follow up and see if there's any of them maybe we can invite to a future meeting? And again, I want to thank everybody for participating tonight. I think it's great that there was a moment tonight during the meeting where one of the establishments that came for a liquor license and Wesley connected, and they offered to help each other going forward. And I think it was an important first step. And if there's anything I could do, please reach out to me. And I think we should continue this conversation because too many lives are lost in Crown Heights to gang violence, and we all have to do our part to prevent future violence. Thank you all for joining us. I'm going to close the meeting. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Yakov. Good night, Rashida.
Thank you. Good night. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Pearson.
Good night.
Good night.